Oh no, you know, we joked about the whole like moments before disaster thing when everybody in the world and the coin picked Dark Zero, and you know what? Space Station Gaming said, we don't care. We're gonna win it anyway. They played brilliantly, and I'm not gonna say cast or curse, nothing like that. No, that was just Space Station Gaming being great, beating Dark Zero, beating the reigning champs 7-2. It was a stomp.
Space Station Gaming media guy, please spare us. We did not mean to all predict against you, but you don't need to post that as a screenshot. It's okay.
I already did.
Post it as a screenshot.
I already did.
So what I'm looking at here,
I'm not afraid,
is an understanding that we need to do a little bit better on predictions by also accounting what side is on here. I'm saying that if only because it's border, it's a best of one, you have a guarantee of playing only one full half, and when you do, it better be the preferred half. And SSG made the most of that first half. If it was a 5-1, look at what they did here.
I mean,
I think so.
I don't think Dark Zero starting the defense or starting on attack was supposed to be some sort of a bad omen for them. Dark Zero are the most successful attacking team in the world, and they got one round against SSG on border. There was nothing really that was connecting for Dark Zero, especially when they were trying to get those opening engagements. And there's one thing I said after my prediction is a little amendment that said, we need to see Rampy stepping up on those opening kills on defense. Too often throughout last stage and throughout just yesterday, he was dying early on those roams. That didn't happen at all in this matchup. He started off the game, he got the very first kill, roaming there on border, and then continuing on from there. I don't believe he had a single opening death on defense. No, he did not. So really impressive stuff by Rampy, playing a little bit more with his team. They were doing an excellent job securing those opening frags.
It just kind of felt like they were everywhere on defense to start up. I loved their rotations. I love how they opted to make sure that they were in different corners with fallback plans towards side if they needed it. And most of it just centered on classic border CCTV, because that was where a lot of those positions were, especially like rounds 1 and 4, when they decided they needed to open up rotations plus sight lines around that 90 position, back towards Fountain, quick access back to Metal. There's a hatch right there in case they need it. They can be anywhere at a moment's notice on a map like this. And if you're not playing this like you played Coastline back in the day, where it's roam-centric and you need the attackers to clear those roamers out before worrying about your side attack, then you're not necessarily doing a good job with it unless you're able to hit sight and you're not concerned about those roamers. But SSG were making their presence felt all over the map right now.
Well, talk about roaming. Let's take a look at some replays here from that last map. Let's talk about round 1 specifically. That's kind of where things got off to a good roaming start for Space Station Gaming, isn't that right?
Yeah, so we're upstairs. This is the setup that I'm talking about specifically. You might call it default, but I still like it. It's where you've got a hole opened up in CCTV that looks right into detention, which is what Hot and Cold's watching. But at the fallback plan over to his left is comprised of a rotate back into 90, another one to Fountain, a sight line that looks at the door, which is where Rampy is positioned right here with Hot and Cold right next to him. Look at how much space he's able to get from that. He can watch like 7 different things, and he's got Hot and Cold who can move into position with him at a moment's notice. There's just so much coverage there, and it takes Dark Zero a long time to not only figure out where these guys are at, but where they might rotate to, as most of them are situated on the top floor for this.
Typically, Dark Zero in their attacks like to isolate roamers. They like to solo pick them off one by one, and they like to gain that man advantage early and fast when they're on the attacking half. But they really couldn't do so here on border, and I feel like part of that is the map. Just the fact that you can't really roam as an individual on this. You have to kind of play with your team. There's a lot of that going back and forth from SSG. They did a really good job at playing around there. And it was interesting as well, Space Station, when we've seen them play border in the past, in the Gamers Without Border tournament, we saw a ton of a zombie being brought out. Didn't see it all the time when they were being played here on border this time around. So clearly already adaptations being made. I thought that was nice.
Wait, if it was Gamers Without Border, how could they be playing border? That sounds like some format issues.
Well, I mean,
I'm just saying.
I'll answer Jesse's question
Come on.
and gloss over the pun. Didn't see her because she was banned by DZ in this game.
Well, there you go.
Well,
So
there you go.
specifically, that's the reason. Like, good job. Like, yeah.
Yes.
Who's paying attention in that one? Well, anyway, let's move on to our next round, the final round of this particular game between Dark Zero and Space Station. And this one, we're going to look at some interesting picks coming through on the side of Space Station.
Yeah, I like talking about anomalies, but if you look over on the left-hand side of your screen, Hot and Cold's playing Gridlock, Fultz picks the Cali. Talking with Penguin in the green room, he really, really thinks that if for some reason the Thatcher is banned, you got to find a time to run the Cali. The reason that like Canadian dies there, he had a mute jammer specifically situated on the A single panel wall right next to the window as soon as you vault in, and that means that as soon as the Cali Lance destroys it, you've got even more free reign to open that up. Use the Selma charge, get it open, and you have an instantaneous sightline. Hot and Cold has also utilized Gridlock a lot on this map. Back in that 7-5 loss to Astralis in Stage 1, that was what he played more often than not. If it wasn't Osa, as well as, sorry, it was Skies who used it. So Space Station are already very accustomed to the idea of bringing different operators on sites like this. We don't get the chance to see Grid very often, which, by the way, if anyone from Ubisoft is listening for the next season, can we please add the F90 to another operator? That'd be great, thank you. But I do love how they decide to try different operators that we don't see in the pool very often, and in cases like that with a Kali in at the same time, even if it's just for destroying one mute jammer, look at how much impact that created. That's a sight line from that window that goes all the way through to the opposite bomb site and gets stopped by a hard wall after it travels about 70 miles. So there's plenty of space for them to work with if they have a Kali in that instance.
Yeah, true enough. And you love to see it too. You love seeing teams kind of adapt on the fly, bringing things in that other teams are not expecting per se. But one more thing we want to look at is some stats from the Dark Zero side of things. Obviously, it was a little bit rough, but Jesse, you want to talk about Panbazoo in particular? The Pamba party was canceled today.
It was. There was a rainout and the party couldn't get underway. We saw Panbazoo, usually being that main player on Dark Zero, is able to get in aggressive and get those early picks on attack. And he still tried. He was rocking the Finca back when Dark Zero last played Border. That was, of course, once again in the major grand finals against Astralis. Panbazoo dropped an insane 8 kills through 6 attacking rounds. He was very, very effective. This time, however, that was cut in half. He only got 4 kills through the first 6 rounds and was really struggling in those opening engagements. Lost 1 in round number 2 against Hot and Cold. His teammates all falling around him as well in rounds 1 through 5. They were really, really struggling to find that entry, and that's usually Panbazoo's job. He's usually the guy to step up and try to accomplish those tasks. Now, speaking of players getting 8 kills on attack for this map, NJ actually did get 8, but they were way fewer, they were way less impactful than what we saw from Panbazoo previously in that last engagement on Border. So unfortunate that Dark Zero weren't able to get things going. That's just really, again, a testament to how strong we've seen Dark Zero's attacks been in the past versus today, where they really just weren't up to snuff.
I mean, it's kind of like what we were saying earlier, right? Where everyone did end up picking Dark Zero, but I think we all kind of said, in this matchup, it doesn't really matter what the standings are. It doesn't matter what the most recent results are. These teams are always going to be competitive against each other, and today was absolutely Space Station's day.
And that's just going to happen sometimes, right? I mean, SSG are still an amazing team, even if they're old. Listen, even though they're not, like, they're probably the only team in the league right now that haven't been picking up like young, fresh Challenger League gunners. They've been sticking with their guys that they've had for a long time, or they've at least been in the scene for a long time. But they've been successful with it, and they still are former world champions for a reason, and they can hang with the big dogs. It's NAL.
How many other times are we going to keep referencing them as like former world champions? Because I feel like we say that every time.
It's the first time we've said it all year.
No, I doubt.
We'll sort this out as we get ready for our next series. The final one of the day is going to be Oxygen taking on Beastcoast. Don't miss it. Last map of the NAL for this week coming at you right after this. Welcome back, everybody. The Rainbow Six North American League analyst desk. Doa Jesse Jacob here, along with everybody else, as we get ready for our final game of the day. It's going to be Oxygen taking on Beastcoast. Now, Oxygen, obviously a great team. We do know that. But Beastcoast struggling. Only 2 rounds were taken yesterday in their series. So the question is, win or lose, will Beastcoast be able to put up more of a fight this time around?
You'd like to hope so, right?
I would.
Beastcoast is certainly not the greatest start that they have ever had. A couple of key players on that roster not showing up. I think Sweater wasn't super happy with his performance the other day. I'd like to see a whole lot more out of him because we've seen him be such a superstar for Beastcoast in the past. But it was day one. It wouldn't shock me at all if maybe there were some nerves on that team. And maybe they can show up a little bit stronger today now that they've got that out of their system.
Let's talk about Oxygen. This team played one of our very, very close matches yesterday. It was an 8-7 victory over Parabellum, and we know how good Parabellum can be after their performance today as well. So Oxygen, looking back on it in retrospect, no surprise they struggled a little bit yesterday, but this is still one of the best teams in North America and the world, if we do include the Charlotte major performance, of course. So I'd say Beastcoast can have their work cut out with them.
Still following a bit of a trend from the Charlotte major, which I thought was interesting, the idea of Newers and Vertical being flipped on the score sheet. The idea that Newers is like coming out of his shell, having a fantastic performance. He's rocking not a Finka yesterday. He was playing mostly Zofia because, if memory serves, I think Finka was banned in their game against Parabellum from yesterday. And we also saw a flex of 2 different players playing Azami. It wasn't just one person, whereas it's usually customarily been someone who's very comfortable with a roam game. It was 2. It was him and it was Laxing, which just kind of makes sense. That's Laxing's MO. But it was moved around between 2 different guys on this team, which just goes to show OXG's flexibility, especially when it comes to a map like they played Theme Park against Parabellum yesterday. So there was a lot of moments where they had to work around that.
Oxygen, a 63% defensive win rate last stage in the NAL, the highest that we had in North America, and that continues to be a strong point for them throughout Charlotte and throughout their first Playday as well, going 4-2 on their defensive half yesterday. They've got some really solid late positioning. I thought their Azami play was really, really nice as well. A couple of times I don't think they countered Azami super well when they were the attackers in the situation. I think that was a bit of an issue for them, maybe not bringing the right tools for the job, didn't always have enough explosives to deal with her utility. But in general, I think Auction still are an extremely capable team. We're looking very, very good on both attack and especially the defense.
Trying desperately to find the cameras that are on at the moment. Motioning at various ones. They found it. That's the one. Yeah. But, you know, the thing is Oxygen is a team that is still in contention, obviously, to get to that next major, to possibly win the stage. They nearly did it last time, and they are that kind of total package team where it's like there's not any one thing in particular that they're like spectacularly good at. They're just a good across-the-board team.
Oxygen are used to going to the majors. They're used to being top teams in North America. They're used to the love from the fans as it comes through. They've got the Dream Claps. They've got Fox, who's got hordes of fans on Twitter.
Buddy.
I know that he does. They're also used to beating Beastcoast. This will be the 5th time these two organizations have met, these two squads. And Oxygen have won every single time so far now. 3 times last year, once in Stage 1. So Oxygen are pretty accustomed to this squad. Obviously, different roster. 4 different players swapped out from last year now to for Beastcoast, but still, that experience is going to be nice.
Also, damn good in best of ones, and they'll keep that trend going until it stops. That's the thing. If it's group stages at majors that are all best of ones, or the NAL itself, this seems to be like a really good opportunity for them to thrive every single time and show what they're made of.
You're going to get there with best of ones, for sure, in a format like NAL and some of the groups of the majors, but you got to win those best ofs later. That's that we need to see more of in the next major. We'll see. Let's talk a little bit about their opponents. Of course, Beastcoast, a team that was kind of on the verge of making it to the major. Stage 1, certainly a lot of skill on this squad, but yesterday we did not see it.
I mean, we saw Surf do what Surf typically does. I'm not worried about it from that aspect, but Sweater was probably like, obviously Anthony not getting a kill or something we'll focus on later. But for me, it was Sweater, the guy who's meant to be leading the charge on attack, wasn't really able to get anything going. And that is obviously something that we need to focus on. On defense, it felt like his role of always being the one to read the entry and find a way to stop the attacking team from getting into the building was read beautifully, not by him, but by the people he was trying to kill. He was first death to Panbazoo a lot over the course of that matchup.
A Quantified, who's first death 5 times.
There we go.
Single opening pick.
They'll do it.
0-5 on the entry was a real struggle point for him. I agree that when he was trying to get aggressive on that defensive half, go for some big flanks, he was often getting shut down. I thought on attack for Beastcoast in general, their pushes were really one-dimensional. We saw very little flank watching going on. We would like to see maybe more coordination and multiple angles coming through for their pushes, but way too often it felt like it was just a one-prong push. They got shut down by flanks from Dark Zero.
And I'm going to keep touching on that because that's something that we saw them do in Stage 1 that I would like to see them mature past. Sometimes if it's a lateral push, it needs to be lateral from multiple angles and not just one-dimensional from only one side, or they need to time it more appropriately where they're not continuing to worry about other angles or roamers or vertical play or whatever. It still feels like on attack they need to run through more of a stringent checklist, which they have failed to do, at least so far for the first game of the stage.
Yeah, and part of that is Anthony. We need to zero in on him. I'm sorry, Anthony. We just got to do. We got to call it like we see him. And let's take a look at those stats from yesterday.
Lowest rated player from Playday 1. You hate to say it, but it is true. 0-8. The only player not to find a frag. Just wasn't his day. He was trying to be aggressive on defense. He was playing some really good guns. Never found success. Was on a lot of Azami as well throughout that first Playday. I thought his placement of the barricades was really strong, but he wasn't playing around them very mobily. He wasn't getting aggressive with it. He wasn't using them to cover his tracks necessarily. So maybe a bit more of adaptation with those. A little bit more flexibility would be nice.
We're still kind of figuring out this EPS rating as well, too. I want to know what it takes to get a 1 EPS rating. We got a 36 here.
There are people who have gotten 0.01s in competition under the CGG system, so I'm wondering if the same thing could exist here.
There have been hard zeros in CGG ratings before.
True, but I guess like at a major we've not seen it. At SI we haven't seen it. Like traditional league play, it's definitely happened before. So it's possible for you to do nothing over the course of a game and get that, but hopefully we don't see that from any of the guys in this league because we're
not hoping for it.
We're the best.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I'm also curious where we're going to see this map be played. It's not going to be Clubhouse or Skyscraper, but where else could we go?
It's not going to be Clubhouse because that's just what Beastcoast does. It's a permaban consistently. They never want to worry about it.
Yeah.
For OXG, maybe not nearly as confident in their Skyscraper as they thought, especially given how it was played in the Charlotte Major, so they just decide it's not something that they want to worry about themselves. The border ban for Beastcoast is interesting, but then you look at the fact that OXG have yet to lose that map, and maybe there's something about the way way OXG played it. That one time they won it that they don't want to concern themselves with. And OXG on Bank is also their permaban. This is the one map out of the 9 maps in the pool that they have not played over the course of the past 3 months. Right. So far everything looking pretty standard for both squads. 2 more bans before we get to the final 3 that really starts to decide what this looks like. And for both teams, they have a couple of options here. Cafe ban specifically for Beastcoast is again a map that they have not played in a very long time, didn't touch it in stage 1. It's one that even if they don't ban it, it usually will get banned against them, but that's because other teams just decided something that they don't want to worry about. And we see the Villa come out for OXG, which for them in particular, again, is only a map that they've played one time. They won it, but there are some other options toward the back end of this ban phase that they'd like to go for instead.
Oregon, Chalet, Theme Park, the final 3 options. Beast Coast likely wanted that Oregon, banned out by Oxygen, unfortunately, though. And then interesting that they choose to go for the Theme Park rather than the Chalet with their ban. Theme Park is a map that Oxygen have been the kings on in North America's 4-game win streak and undefeated since Theme Park's reintroduction. A win over TSM in stage 1, 2 wins in Charlotte, and the final dub over Parabellum the first day of stage 2. For Beast Coast, they have yet to win it all through 2 separate games. They lost to DZ just yesterday, but I've seen Beast Coast lose a map and then play it the exact next day and win it the second time. That's what happened in stage 1 when they were playing on Bank.
True.
Maybe they could run it back.
It's possible. You never know. I mean, anything is possible in the NAL, right? We've had our upsets before, so we'll hope for.
Gonna put like a trademark on there because that for the catchphrase. Were you paid to say that out loud?
Anything can happen. No.
There you go.
Paid for a lot of it.
Say it more dramatically for the camera next time.
Let's get our predictions for this next series, starting with our casters. It's going to be Pengu and Intero over there. The players are waiting. Let's make it fast. What's it going to be, guys?
Oxygen.
All right.
That was fast. My prediction today has been very bad. Like, everything was wrong.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to follow you and say OXG as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm not splitting up
I was
here.
right about Parabellum. I was the only person who was right about it.
Yeah,
I'm
but
suffering
you,
right now.
but you didn't say Beast Coast, so like I
Oh,
can't
of course,
jump
they
with you on
have
that
no
one.
chance.
Okay.
Okay.
So OXG for sure.
OXG. We'd love to talk to you more, but again, we got to get this thing started. How about the analysts? What do you got?
OXG.
OXG?
Yeah, I would really need something
can
to
you not?
convince me for Beast Coast, and just given what we saw yesterday, I just don't see it. So I think I'm going to go Auction as well. Please coin go Beast Coast so we don't curse it, and I'll get it wrong.
Yeah, please.
Heads,
Please.
Oxygen, tails, Beast Coast.
I'm pretty sure we'll have the fan vote on our side, but will we have the coin?
It's a heads. It's Oxygen.
Okay, thank God.
Oh, no, that's
right.
bad.
Oh, wait, no. Oh,
Going for
Very
it.
bad.
Point for Oxygen. Fan vote.
Come on, fans.
What do you got to say?
Don't let us down.
The people say.
Be wrong for the team.
Oxygen. Oh, here we go again.
Congratulations,
All right,
Beast
moments
Coast.
before disaster 2.0. Everybody picks Oxygen. Beast Coast has a chance. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to see. Oh, actually, let's check out the community poll really quick before we go. It is kittens or rats, drip or laxing?
Okay.
for the love of God.
I think
don't write
cat
these.
beats mouse.
I don't write these, but hey, you know that is true. That's about as logically as
We
you
don't
can
need
think
to
about it.
enable this Twitter be hit. Never mind. Let's just go to the
It's
game.
the internet. We like it. It works out. Let's take a break, and when we get back, it's Oxygen versus Beast Coast. We'll see who takes the final game of day 2 in just a few.
I'm Foxe, and this is the NAO.
Time for our final matchup of the day. Playday number 2, stage 2, and it's match 5. We've saved the best for last. If you're fans of Oxygen and Beastcoast, or the color green, or one color green and then the other's an offshoot of the color green, whatever you like.
Is it an offshoot of color green? Or it's like an offshoot color blue. It's like a cyan-ish color.
It's like blue-green, teal, aquamarine.
Yeah.
Coast, aqua. I feel like they kind of have to go
blue
together. I don't know. They're going up against OXG. Yesterday, OXG prevailed in their matchup. Beastcoast did not. And the only player who doesn't have a single kill in the NAL
is Anthony.
On Beastcoast. So he's going to try to break that today. Went 0-8 yesterday in what was a very quick matchup. DZ speedrunning their match against Beastcoast 7-2, and then DZ got sped run today.
Oh, that was a brutal one. I mean, I even wore my DC shirt for good luck, and it didn't take them anywhere successfully. So
I didn't even know it said Dark Zero under it. I didn't even know
I've been hiding it because
wear that on the
we weren't casting DC today, so I didn't want to show it off. But
Biased caster.
It's my only black T-shirt that I had that was clean, so I'm wearing it for that reason too.
Biased caster is what you are.
Is what you are. You voted Parabellum, Canadian orc, Canadian caster.
Oh, give me a break.
And
all
they
right.
won.
It's time to go to theme park for our 5th matchup. I don't know what that means and how that relates to theme park, but we are going to get into the action. Look at how close, or look at how quick this is. Maverick banned immediately.
Alrighty, let's just keep on that trend there. Second man coming through, and it is beep, 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 boop. It is Thatcher. Wow, I would have never seen that coming. From a mile away, Thatcher off the board as always. Maverick following through, which means breaching is very difficult. Could see some Kali play maybe, as his G played it early on border in the game which you saw against Dark Zero. That was fun to watch. The bolt action rifle even got a kill and a half. Mira follows alongside into the band operator grave area on the map. Unfortunately, we won't see her either.
Last operator could be Azami.
No.
Seen an extraordinary amount of play today and could be somewhat relevant on theme park. That's
That's right.
Ooh. Things are relatively standard here. Mav and Thatcher make it so that the attackers will have a hell of a time getting through certain areas that are going to be reinforced. The big ones being both maintenance and barrels. When you're looking at the throne defense, that is the best bomb site, I believe, statistically, still.
By far. It's like 81% from the Charlotte Major. This statistic is from, of course.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
The most defender-rated bomb site is armor thrown across every single map, so that's just absolutely absurd when you think about that. And what do you know? They are indeed also starting on that particular bomb site because it is just that good.
Well, either way, look at that bomb site. We are going to go to Throne and Armory on that bottom floor. Attacker repick very much in effect, but it looks like OXG is quite happy with their lineup.
Yeah, not changing too much. I mean, the thing is, most teams, of course, go into these rounds also expecting the first defensive round. They pick.
Is that a Capitao?
Oh?
God, I haven't seen Capitao in quite a while. The
Quite
Brazilian
rare.
attacker brings 2 smoke arrows and 2 fire arrows.
He does. So they're waiting for the prepared. They said, you know what, maybe we'll change something up here.
Bring back his blue smoke, you cowards. That's all I want.
What?
That's all I want. His smoke used to be blue.
Yeah, a long time ago, Park.
Yeah,
He also
and
had
now
frag
it's just-
grenades.
He did.
He did.
Look at this run out from Slash.
Again.
He did the exact same thing yesterday in the exact same spot against Dark Zero. It
And he
did
shut
not
the wall,
work. Yes.
another person the exact same way as well.
And look at, is that the Mozzie Pest setup? It is! So we get to see that same Mozzie Pest setup. So if you've droned this out, then you know it's there. If you've watched the VOD, if OXG studied the VOD, they have 2 very capable coaches in both Redeemer and Hopes. They've likely seen this and are prepared for it.
They should be, at least. And even if they're not, though, Slash last time didn't really get too much done here. He usually lingers around, shoots a drone or 2, then quickly falls back. And of course, you see other members of Beastcoast doing a similar thing. So I agree. If OXG has been studying out the previous matchup on Theme Park, they should know exactly what to expect right now because Beastcoast are doing the exact same thing.
Entirely sure. Beastcoast lived and died, and more so died off of the roam yesterday in the matchup against Dark Zero as they continued to try to push engagements when they had very limited information. Slash has some intel right here. There goes the Nitro cell, and it goes off, but Vert just avoids it. No damage is done. Foxay on the hunt from the hatch over maintenance.
I mean, so far it's working out. I mean, Beastcoast are stopping the entries and getting a kill. Nice shot onto Newers.
Nicely played by Sweater. Rocking the Beastcoast skin, actually.
Of course, you gotta represent.
It's Skinnergizing, by the way.
That too. It's very important, as we know from you, Parker.
Halfway through the round, and it looks like Beastcoast has completely vacated that top floor. They have given up much of the control of the second floor after taking out Newers. Now, Newers needs to have a good game. He's been inconsistent on this OXG roster, and I would argue probably the least consistent player on the team, especially given his role. When you play on Finca on attack, you are expected to pretty much lead the team.
He had a slow start yesterday, but he kind of sped up towards the tail end there. He had 18 kills totaling on the tally there towards the end. Foxay, second top gunner in their previous matchup as well. So, I mean, when you are the new guy amongst these veterans, I guess minus Dream's like in the middle area, but like, you know, experience is important. When you play with like Laxing, Vert, and Foxay, you know, they will be very consistent players because they've been playing for so goddamn long. But he's been doing a good job so far, Newers. Not this round, though.
Try to flash out and maybe burn some ADSs. There goes a nade. Will it take care of it? No. The Electric Claw is still very much in play. Second opportunity. Finally get it open. A single hard breacher being brought, but guess what? Another Electric Claw has been thrown over in that direction. Back in the pocket of Drip. Sweater's just hitting these beautiful shots. A second kill for him answered by Laxing. OXG trails, but Laxing picks up kill number 2, and suddenly this is a very open series. Dream doesn't know where to go. They don't have time to get that down. So they're just going to breach into the bomb site. They're going to walk right in and serve as a shotgun. He's ready for it, and he's going to gun him down. Dream getting the diffuser planted. Foxay will need to watch. Look at the Nitro Cell. He doesn't catch it. Surf with 2 on the Nitro Cell, including the diffuser being planted down. Wonderful play by Beastcoast. They pick up round number 1.
Very close to all things considered, but I mean, I'm very curious as to why that breach didn't go through. I mean, perhaps there was a jam on the wall of yellow. I have to assume that was the case in that situation because Dream went to put down that exothermic charge on the yellow wall, but then said, you know what?
I think there was a mute jammer.
Exactly. So there have had to be a mute jammer to like change that direction around. They sprinted in through both doors and therefore, well, couldn't quite get it. It was very close though. Had that C4 been shot midair, who knows what would have happened, but with only a pistol to go on your secondary weapon, it is a tough challenge at hand. That takes us a second bomb site here. The office side of things, the second most successful bomb site for the defending win rate, considering the rounds played. It's been played 12 times at Charlotte Major, 58% win rate, so not doing too shabby. But of course, you gotta extend out somewhere else because you can't just stay in the bomb site itself. So rotations here, center of your screen, frost traps being put down, pockmats as we call them. And of course, the defenders will try and do the same kind of thing or same kind of theme where you extend across the map as much as possible, you deny the possible entry points for the attackers, and then hopefully burn down that clock, kill a few drones, and slowly make your way back towards the bomb site, just like they did on that Armory Throne to great success.
All right, well, this is the same rotation that I believe we saw yesterday, which is you go immediately up to this office initiation part, and then you go over to bunk if things don't work out. Azami being very important here for the defenders, especially with that first Kiba that we saw just now go over towards the cache doorway, which will allow you a bit more staying power. Now, when it came to cracking this nut, Dark Zero really liked bringing Osa towards Cafe to deal with whatever was roaming in that area. In this case, Slash on that Azami is going to be in that same spot. There's no mobile cover for OXG. No shields being brought in. Newers just is going in. I'm not exactly sure what the plan was there. It doesn't work out. If the plan was get killed by Slash, well, mission accomplished.
Worth noting that it was Anthony playing Asami yesterday for this side, but today it's Slash and good night to Hugh because Lysing is indeed ratzing around an upside down rappel on the door to Cafe, and it can be a tricky angle indeed, especially with those Asami barriers blocking your lines of sight.
Harkening back to our community poll, which was, are you a fan of rats or are you a fan of kitty cats? Because Drip likes to call himself Kitten, and Laxing is a rat who hides in rat corners and does rat things.
And he's very much known for that, so it's not a negative thing, it's just like it defines his playstyle, and I mean this rappel right here, the angle that he had, kind of speaks to that element as well.
This is just a full frontal aggression at the moment. Foxay just steps below Sweater on those yellow stairs. Given the fact that that's so close to the bomb site, Foxay was within striking distance of being in there. He doesn't have the diffuser in hand. That's going to be Dream who does it. We're still on Anthony MGS watch, by the way. He has yet to get a single kill in either yesterday's Playday or today. I mean, we're only on round 2.
Yeah.
At some point, we will celebrate. I don't know if they have a graphic, if that would seem almost insincere. Sweater a kill on to Dream, the running man, as OXG walks through Cafe, immediately answered. Sweater still in this position. He's got some soft destruction. Right at the wall is none other than Foxay. He was over by Yellow, and he's made his way all the way to the top. It's a kill to equalize into 3v3 with 45 seconds left. Plenty of soft wall into A and then all the way down towards Cash 2, just the head being shown for but a second. Fox misses out on that. It prompts Drip to move over as the smokes would have cut off his line of sight. Now playing behind the bar, waiting and watching. Did somebody swing in? No. Drip is downed through the drone hole. Excellently played. Can Surf come to the rescue? Drip finished off by Foxay. A second kill for the team captain of OXG. Laxing under fire. Now he's the one to be dropped by Anthony. Can he secure? Anthony, go and get it. Get your kill, Anthony. You need it. They see the Azami, or they see the Aruni for a second. Surf taken down. Anthony will need to clutch his first kill. It's right here. It's right here. Is it winnable? 5 seconds. Diffuser getting planted by Foxay. Anthony rushing in. There's a kill to be had for him, but instead he gets them off the plant. There's so many people who are still up that he could have gotten a kill on. Doesn't get any of them. Instead plays the objective perfectly. And Foxay's decision to fall off the plant costs his team the round.
Damn, he had the choice between getting his first kill or getting a round on the board. And I will say, there's definitely one thing with more value there than the other. The round, of course, is the important element here for the team because the kills are not always what gets you a round victory. As Anthony just showed us, playing the objective and playing time, faking out your opponent with that Norse mate when sprinting, secured him a free dub. Now we'll see a almost full side rotation as we're going through it. 2 rounds done and dusted, 2 bump sides, 1. Third one gets a chance here. Of course, we're going to bunk daycare instead. And this is typically where most teams would do their second side rotation. But as we know for Beastcoast, they like going third here as they did yesterday as well. Valkyrie camera being brought out, of course, to gain some information. I'm curious, I was just going to say the nuke. Yeah, Vertical is a tanker repeating onto that exact operator because this bomb site has so many different points of entries. Cafe door, yellow staircase, arcade stairs. You can flank on the dragon side of things. Of course, there are so many different avenues free at your disposal. And the nuke, of course, not being able to be seen by cameras, not making noise when the gadget is activated for footsteps, just means that you can have such a higher success rate at getting inside the building.
All right, over to Bunk. This is that rotation that we talked about. Drug/lab, as we call it. No more drugs.
Nope, stock lab.
Just now, it's just lab. No more drugs. We got rid of drugs. It's a drug-free zone.
True.
As far as I'm aware, there's still drugs present in that part of the map.
Oh, so true.
They just don't call it that, but that's fine. This is not our Christian game.
Yeah, lab stocks for bomb side vertical. Was gonna drone but missed it and to pick it back up again. Newers instead trying to do the dirty work of jumping in a window somewhere. But of course we'll check it with a drone first because why not?
Both first bloods so far for Beastcoast.
Oh yeah.
Been on to Newers, by the way. Newers just walking right in, second time engaging with very limited information in a cafe and getting smoked by Slash. It was Sweater to get the very first kill back in round number 1. We're still on Anthony MGS watch. Just like to remind you, every round, every single round. He can't hear us, but you can.
I'm glad he can because there's nothing worse than a silly plat gold caster being like, get your first kill, Anthony. Or it's like, we get swept in Pro League.
I will say this, Beastcoast has now tied their tally from yesterday with these first 2 rounds.
True.
By picking up these 2. Dark Zero looked like a much different team today than they did yesterday. OXG, will they be the same? Will Beastcoast be the same? So many questions that just require answers. There's Sweater taking down Vertical. The best player in the NAL last stage will be no more. Newers is still up, though. Still searching for his first kill as he's not first-blooded.
It's true. Oh my god, there it is. There's a first kill right there. The Sweater, of course, traded back.
Spoke it into existence.
Yeah. You do that sometimes, Parker.
From time to time.
You do it greatly, too.
There's an Adrenal Surge that goes to. Foxy's down in Throne. This is a bunk take that Oxygen are going to have to pull off.
Okay. We're waiting for an engagement here. Shotgun on the staircase. LMG in hand, of course, with Newers. Neither person here wants to be the one to swing. They're awaiting the other person to make the first move, but neither will. We'll walk away, but now we see Dream's position. Of course, person right here, Surf, is stuck on the staircase.
This is actually like a game of like, you go first, no, you go first, no, you go first, no, you go first. The Nitro Cell in position. Slash will be the wild card as he's off site over by Office. And there's an engagement from Fox. He wins it. Anthony down for the count. Slash will now need to cover over towards yellow stairs. He sees one, but a bit of sloppy aim. Target prioritization not great. Surf has his teammates back on to Dream, but Drip is also gone, leaving Surf 4-0. He hasn't died just yet. Beautifully executed onto Fox. More in store. He's going to get flashed and pushed right up. Do they spot him in time? They don't know where he is. Laxing will have to deal with this as Newers goes for the plant.
Oh my God.
Surf could pull this one off, and he'll do it just fine. A quad kill from Surf, good God. He does it again, and he clutches out to give Beastcoast the round.
It's a clutch out of nowhere, man. It didn't even seem possible for the moment there. Sure, he was 4-0, flawless so far when that round, got towards that clutch potential. But in a 1 versus 3 in a terrible position with 9 bullets left, he makes it work. And of course, it's the shotgun of all weapons here. The SMG-11 shotgun duo makes the dream work. Quad kill, defuse, round secured in the bag. 3-0 now for Beastcoast. And oh my God, add insult to injury, a tactical timeout forced from OXG on top of that. That's rough.
OXG just not playing their game right now. And a bit of sloppiness on the entry. Forfeiting those 3 first bloods to Beastcoast when yesterday Dark Zero read that so effectively. When Dark Zero entered against Beastcoast on this exact same map, DZ seemed to have no problem handling those off-site players. And yeah, it was a relatively close matchup, and DZ made some stumbles, but the roam often fell apart. Surf clutched, I think it was back in round number 1, along with Drip, if I remember correctly, which is why we said he did it again. Some clutch moments from a player who was slept on, frankly. When it came to his addition to this Beastcoast roster, people were like, oh, okay, well, there's so much better CL talent. Why did you pull somebody whose last real notable performance in CL was almost a year prior to him joining the team? Well, here are the reasons why. 7-0. Really just an incredible stat line through these 3 rounds, and those final 3 kills to clutch in round number 3 are hugely impactful. Not all 7 have been the flashiest, but they've all been very necessary. Either way, Beastcoast completing that perfect rotation. Nick, they're going to go back to Throne.
Yes, they are, and it's a great time to be Beastcoast because with the win rate of this bomb set being on that 81-ish% on defensive side, well, you're in for a great bomb site rotation. And the best part is you even have a 4 of the bomb site that you have yet to show in lab stock that they could go to even if all else fails. And we see again BC getting so aggressive on these early game rotations, spawn peeking, challenging, running into the face of OXG. And we have to talk about the injuries in the roam game. If you don't shut down the roamers off Beastcoast, they are going to thrive so much on this map. They need to feel scared to run around, but because they're winning all their gunfights, that's not the case. It's the attackers now taking even more precaution as they get towards this building because there might be a guy swinging me any moment here. And you see 40 seconds burned. Not anything has really been done so far. Newers nading, seemingly for no reason. Sure, there's a player here, but other than that, and he's gone.
Slash getting the first blood on Newers yet again, the timeout. If it was to settle down the aggression from Oxygen, or at least get Newers head in the game, it did not work at all. Slash picking up his first kill.
And what now, OXG? What do you do now? You've lost your primary entry player of Newers.
I mean, at least you didn't lose the Finka. And I think that if Newers is going to go in and feed every single round, that's one thing, but the Finka needs to stay alive. You need those nades there, you need that staying power, and you need to be able to top yourself up. Obviously, having 3 adrenal surges in your pocket, when we saw through all 3 rounds, there's little bits of chip damage that are done to these players on OXG. The whole point of the adrenal surge, when it comes to being at low HP, is to get you back up. If you're losing the finger first, obviously you can't do that.
It's true. So the Twitch from there got the kite claw off the wall, so it's going to help you up. But there's a sick one in the pocket, and it's going to sab off your exothermic charge. That is a bad time. C4 comes out, does not get any kills, doesn't even do any bits of damage. Flashbang to ADS, clear to check. Nate follows through, should get that second kite claw, and now the wall can successfully get opened up. But that's your only heart breach on the board for you, so that's all you're going to have to work with.
It's interesting, the positioning of one of these frost mats, just to the right of the breach, you can see it underneath the gun of Drip, is that if they smoke like usual and run in for a default, they can end up walking right into it. And they walk right into Drip and his crosshair. Down goes Dream. That's the diffuser surrendered as well. Inside of maintenance will need to be retrieved. More damage being done to Laxing. This is when Finko would be so critical. And they did hit the adrenal surge, it just wasn't enough. Still 2 remaining in the pocket for Vert. He and Fox working together. Beastcoast are eating Oxygen alive right now. 30 seconds remaining. And this feels like almost a funeral for OXG.
Yeah.
They lose another as Sweater picks up a second kill. It's vertical in a 1v4. Not ideal circumstances, and he doesn't have much intel. To grab the diffuser and go for a plan is a brazen move. I appreciate it a lot, but Vertical needs to go for kills here, and he knows that they're really not going to give it to him. One player comes out, and then 3 will swing onto him. Gets himself back up, but Anthony gets the kill! It was the down. Is he technically credited with it? That will be the question. Oh my, 4 rounds for Beastcoast though. OXG not on the board just yet.
So if Anthony got the injury itself, he will get the kill, which I believe is what happened. Yep, there I saw it. I saw it for a split second. Anthony's on the board, baby. He got the first kill of his time here in stage 2. All is good for the Beasthood crew. Or Beastcoast crew, rather.
He did it. You're absolutely correct. Anthony is on the board, ladies and gentlemen. He did it. He absolutely did it. It does feel almost sarcastic, or it feels almost condescending. Like we're being sarcastic about him doing this, but no, in all sincerity, it's good to have him on the board. Welcome aboard, Anthony. Beastcoast still continuing their rampage right now on defense. They're going to repeat the same cycle that they did the first time around. They were winners on Throne, they were winners on Office, they were winners on Bunk, and guess what? They just won on Throne again. Now they go over to Office. The tactical timeout taken by OXG. I don't know if the intention was to come up with a better strategy. Obviously, there were role swaps that came in.
Yes.
Didn't really make that much of a difference because, again, that was a very dominant round from Beastcoast.
We see Newers once again changing up. That's the first OXG opening kill here on the Sweater, so it's a good start for them, but they're gonna now, you know, use this advantage to go further in the round and hopefully get their first round on the board. Newers went from Finger to Sludge now onto the Nuke, so they're trying to enable Newers, or at the very least, give other members some better guns.
I can almost hear Sweater saying, you know, I got this. I got this. Honestly, that's an ego move by Sweater to try to go for a spawn peek early on. You know, Slash had pulled it off round number 1 and did the same against Dark Zero in their match on Theme Park yesterday. But that was, I don't want to say that wasn't an earned kill by OXG, but Sweater absolutely didn't need to do that. He could have stayed alive. He's Oryx. He's got the 1.5 on that T5. Low recoil. He could have just played safe, been fine.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't.
Absolutely. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't. And OXG pick up their first blood because of that. 1 minute off of the board now, and Kiba barriers going up from Azami. Newers, who's been shuffled off of that Finka roll, is now in a much sneakier position, and he might be able to grab one of the defenders. The cam hasn't gone on yet, so Nook is going to pay off quite well. Look at this. He's basically behind enemy lines at this point. Inching ever closer, but he doesn't have anybody in his sights, and he gets spotted by the cam. Has to shoot it, so at least this position's been known. Because of the attacker repick, Nick, they don't necessarily know that there's a Nook on the board. They probably have a good idea now.
Yeah, now they should know because that person's on the camera and all of a sudden he just like disappeared. But I mean, Halfdown is burnt, and so far OXG, they're really just trying to be to keep their distance right now, not want to get found out. Newers finds a second onto Slash now again, leveraging this advantage. Now just don't peek alone, OXG. Play together and utilize the man advantage. You might just find your first round, got a minute and 7 to work with, but all these walls here are hard to walk up on next to.
This odd Swiss cheese style of wall defense that you see from Beastcoast makes it tougher for OXG to engage off of if they haven't droned it out and don't have good information. Anthony's now the one to take some damage, and it's a bit of a belated setup. All of Beastcoast numbers faltering, and it could be a flawless round unless Surf can do something. And no, a flawless round from OXG, and it also gives Surf his first death in the match. It comes at the tail end of round number 5. OXG obviously not happy with where they are in this match, but 1 round is the starting point that you need, and they can pick up another, blunt momentum, switch sides, and maybe level themselves off for a spirited contest. For the moment, Beastcoast won the first half. They're in great shape.
Just gonna say, I mean, this is OXG on attack on a defender side of map, so if you go 2 and 4, you're actually in a perfectly fine position to, you know, have a great shot at making it back, even winning before OT and regulation. But if this becomes like a 5-1, you have to start wondering, you know, is Beastcoast aggression too much for OXG? Because that previous round which you saw on the Office defense was the absolute worst case outcome for Beastcoast, right? Sweater tried to spawn peek, got shut down early. The Newers found a second kill. It was 3 versus 5, and at that point, you're just playing TDM, right? You're swinging, trying to do something out of desperation. You don't have enough bodies to really throw at your opponent, but you try regardless because you have to. So let's see if Sweater can stay alive this time for the first 20 seconds and see what happens if that is the case. Of course, Alibi being brought up by Anthony. He likes to bring out this operator. Again, we always speak about the value, the secondary shotgun, the 1.5x, the shield. You really get a very dynamic and stable operator in Alibi for these things. Her prismas can be put down and you can see the outline above it, almost working like another camera where if the enemy doesn't shoot it, you can assume maybe it's clear. As you can see that outline through the walls across the map.
Well, Vertical staying on this Finka. They like Newers on the Nook, so that's where he will remain. No other major changes here for OXG. They've run this very similar lineup. The only stylistic difference is that Nook in place of the Yana that's been run a couple times. They've brought the Nomad to deal with how aggressive Beastcoast's roam is and how much Beastcoast likes to just play freely around the map. Saw yesterday in the Dark Zero matchup, and you've seen a little bit today from Beastcoast, where they like those deep flanks, and they like to come back to the bomb site when there's not a ton of time left. The good thing for Beastcoast is that if there's any weaknesses in that play, they haven't been exposed because most of the rounds have been so one-sided and decided relatively early on.
It also means the bomb site itself is fairly unknown territory for OXG, so that when they finally get there, it's like, what does this actually look like? I mean, sure, they planted the one round with Surf Clutch, but Newers getting a little bit closer behind enemy lines.
And an easy kill onto Slash, who vaults on over, and again, this is what you come to expect. You talked about how there's a lot of pressure that Nook puts on a map, and that is that fear of the unknown. She can be anywhere and nowhere all at the same time. It really depends on what intel you have. For Beastcoast, they have the Valve cams up, and they've got one bulletproof camera from Sweater on top of all the defaults. That's a pretty good amount of intel. They are missing the Malusi, though, and they are missing a Legion, who could really help out.
No barbed wire either.
That's true, if they think that the Nook is a serious problem.
So those staircases, that's where the Banshees, the Legion mines, the Ela mines, the barbed wire especially comes into play, but BC opting for this bulletproof situation. The shields, deployable camera, etc. This doesn't work against the Nuke, unfortunately, and they pay the price.
Zabunk defense, very quiet. Beastcoast showing much more restraint, and I guess that roam that they had against Dark Zero, they liked it for the first couple rounds here, but they've really reined it in. And because of that, it means that OXG have to be a little bit more careful about how they enter. Yeah, you get more map control quickly, but then you have to figure out where they are on the bomb site. There's no Mute in play, and there's no Mozzie in play this time, so you don't have to worry about any information being denied your way. There's a jump in from OXG. Newers picks up another 2 kills to add his tally to 3. Sweater picks up 2 of his own, and he's on the stairs. Nobody saw over towards Arcade, but Newers picks up a quad with Laxing to get the 5th. OXG pick up 2 rounds in a row. They finally come alive, and Newers is dialed in.
Definitely looking more alive now, more comfortable in this server, and BC really giving too much respect in that round, holding back and sitting in corners. I mean, again, that opening kill that Newers found, it almost seemed like they thought he had pushed further on up. They were holding angles and awaiting, but then when OXG they struck, it was all at once, and well, they won every single gunfight individually, and Newers with the 4 kills made it way too easy for his teammates to just walk on into a free bomb site. And now OXG, they get the 2-4 side swap. Now you find Beastcoast on the attacking side with a very difficult tall task ahead of them. We have to talk about that throne starting bomb site being so unbreakable for the attackers. The Kaid and the Mute for the wall deny, got impacts on Newers, as well as Dream, who's probably going to be on the side with the Maestro. These walls right here are going to be so tough to get through, and even if you get them opened on up, you gotta deal with the roam game that almost every single team is doing, and OXG will do just that as well.
Tail on the tapes for the first half, as we like to do. Beastcoast took the first 4 rounds. They took the opening kill in all 4 of those rounds as well. OXG answered back with the final 2 rounds of the first half, getting the first blood in both of them too. There's been no real objective play to note. OXG had a couple defusal attempts, but they were aborted.
They did have the one plan, right?
They did.
But then Surf clutched.
But then Surf clutched, yes. So the diffuser went down right away on that bunk defense. Surf immediately killed Dream the moment he popped up from the diffuser. I guess you can count that, I guess.
Statistically, you have to, because it did go down.
Yes.
But did it have an impact? Not
at all. No, the round was still effectively over. Diffuser or no diffuser, it was not a real consideration. Either way, there were 2 other attempts that I remember from OXG that ended up being aborted as well. The one from Foxay really does jump to mind when it was just simply waiting out the clock. Look at this.
It's a scary territory to be in if you're Slash. There's a hatch above you.
They've isolated Laxing, and yet he still knows! Surf at the window, they know the Kite is in there. A grenade goes in to follow up. Sweater on the beat, and he gets it. The Nook is still primed and ready, and Slash will go back to this position. Could he capitalize off of any of the defenders who walk in that direction? No. Nobody there to trade off Sweater, and Slash could have easily greeted them.
2 roamers above, of course. Make it a rotate right now. So to add a bit more dynamic gameplay, we got 2 people upside in bunk beds waiting around. If they drop the hatch, Slash is waiting, and of course he'll get a kill, but his whereabouts will also be revealed to his opponents. It's a 4 versus 4 halfway through the round, and this grenade from Slash could make a... Nope, it's gonna be a way off mark.
Nowhere near any of the bodies. We have the silhouettes, they don't, so you can't really fault him for that. There's the wrong call from his teammate, which is what tends to happen, by the way. We can see them now with yellow pings. Before that, it was hell. Why are you looking to the left? Why are you shooting there? Maybe somebody on the team made a call? You never know. Either way, over half of the round gone. Both teams have lost one. Laxing with that early pick onto Surf. It was answered immediately. Both players sitting at 7 kills. Extremely valuable for their teams, but not at the top. Newer's huge play gave him 8 kills, and Sweater has actually passed over Surf, despite Surf going 7-0 to start.
We gotta see this first wall being worked upon. Jammer has been cleaned out, it appears, and there is no Kite Claw on it either. No, Dream has 2 impact grenades. It's a tough angle to get, but it is possible. That's also why Thermite is crouching to lower the level of the exothermic charge. But no, Dream has the angle working in his favor. Gets the first one. Can he get the second here and stop the breach at all?
This is called impact tricking, and instead it gets shot away at from above. Ooh. Goodness gracious. That's not what you want at all. Vertical is up top, and it's thwarted the hard destruction. Vert misses one over by 90 and now lines up towards maintenance, takes down the Twitch of Anthony, no more. This is a very defender-friendly theme park as we come to see. Vertical snaps onto the head of Sweater. That's pretty rhythmic. Foxe, the bottom of Yellow Stairs, takes out yet another. And OXG have found 3 rounds in a row. They took a timeout. They lost the next round, but since then, it's been full steam ahead.
Yep, let's see if Beastcoast can pull through on their attacks because, I mean, a couple unfortunate things happened in that round, right? The way Laxton got the opening kill there, his teammates just like, running past the window. You can't really fault anybody for that, but it seemed like OXG got a little bit lucky in a couple of those kills, but then, of course, as well, their strategical elements worked in their favor, right? They had the right setup on the bomb side, the right utility in the right places, notably Dream having those impact grenades by the wall to maintenance and being able to deny that exothermic charge because if that wall does not get opened up, the bomb side, it's completely fortified and it's so hard to get into as an attacker. And this is the more common bomb side rotation. It'll be a bunk daycare second option rather than the office that Beastcoast liked. So we're back to the basics, if you will.
All right, back to basics. Site rotation so far, Throne and now Bunk again. OXG winning the only 2 attacking rounds so far. That's okay because, well, there's only been 1 for Beastcoast on attack. It's one of those stats that sound so impressive. Oh, wow, Oxygen must be so good on attack. No, that's not. Kiba barriers being applied upstairs in security.
Yep. Denies the hatch drop angle, which kind of works both ways because now you can hold that angle from the bomb side with that rotation, but you also can't just drop the hatch and see in through bomb side either. So it works both ways, which is kind of nice. And of course, the difference here is that the defenders know where the keeper barriers are, where the attackers have to drone it out first, then gain that information and relate to your teammates, and then work off of that. So it's always interesting what you can do with objects like Mira and Asami, etc. that can kind of like shape the map differently. Same with deployable shields. They can make some positions that normally don't work into a very strong position.
Svinkarol, being the main spearhead for both of these teams, will lead the way towards the bomb site and the promised land for Beastcoast. It's in the hands of Sweater.
Oh. Try again. Oh, no.
It doesn't work out. Oh well. I like the lineups that we see on Theme Park, and with its reintroduction to the map ban phase, or the map pool rather, allows us to get a good look as to how teams approach, especially the office and initiation part of this map. Office in particular with those soft walls that lead towards vending machine, top of Yellow Stairs, into cache. There's just so many angles that you can hold, and especially with a zombie, it really does open up the possibilities. Newers goes from a great shot onto an immobile slash to a bit of a problem with the drone. Now there's a Hibana of Drip just standing outside of that window. Newers needs to be very cautious of a potential cafe push, but right now, there's nobody inside. He gets droned out in that same spot. It'll be a test of reflexes against Drip. There's toxic canisters being used to prevent a push up the arcade stairs. That's Dream assisting his teammate.
I mean, look at this. Beastcoast are in a complete lock. No way real in, but I say that, but Anthony just forces it with the LMG. Doesn't even clear the shield and all the ADSs, and it works.
It's a second kill of stage 2. That one's a bit of a helping hand thanks to Vert. Another could be found from Anthony, not too far away at the top of arcade. He is a couple feet away from the bomb site. Doesn't hold the diffuser, though. Now it's Sweater under fire in lobby. Dream playing off of that Kiva barrier. And Anthony will twist and toil. He doesn't have much intel as to where inside of daycare any of those defenders sit. Surf gets killed through the wall. That's Laxing. Not too far off, and it really is a game of intel for Beastcoast. And it's that they don't have any intel. They lack critical information, and they're finding them, and they're dying to all of them. As OXG have now tied the game with their 4th round in a row.
That they have. This is the theme park defense situation where unless you have a really solid, strong attacking strategy that doesn't rely on finding kills, it can be really hard because, I mean, look what happened that first opening kill. It's basically Beastcoast holding an angle to arcade stairs, but Newers had already crossed. So when he goes back up the staircase, he gets the advantage because he sees the opponent first, and he gets an easy kill onto the Iana player. Slash got taken off the board, and well, that just makes it so much more difficult because you lose the grenades, the Gemini clone, etc. So much value on that individual operator, and then OXG, they had paid all their dividend or all their dues because they had the Banshees in the staircases, they had impacts where they need them, they had a shield for Cafe, ADSs to protect it. They had set up a really good baseline for any kind of attack. Laxing was roaming all the way on where the current bomb site is in office and got that kill through the vault wall. So they really had every single area covered. Even if Beastcoast was running a nuke, which they weren't that round, but they are now, there's no real way she can get in on the map and do any sort of damage where, well, Newers, he found those openings because he didn't pay that fee that is the Banshees and the barbed wire.
We talked about how the Banshees become so critical when a Nook is ever present.
So good.
And look at what Sweater's running. He's off Finka duty. It's gone on over to Surf. This is a lineup for the ages, and Nook coupled with that Lion and Finka just brings back with those last 2 operators a meta long ago. By the way, after starting 0-3, Nurs, was it 0-3 or 0-2? Nurs is now 11-4 after starting 0-2. Vertical dies, and suddenly the entry from Beast Coast working out quite well. Trip and Surf, both with a kill of their own.
Very jumped out the window, actually, in maintenance, I believe. And a little bit aggressive there, trying to get cute. This is, of course, the office bomb site that is not as strong on the site itself, so aggression can be expected from the defenders because you gotta try and find an advantage somewhere on the map, but didn't work out. Now you're playing 3 versus 5, and we can only expect more aggression from OXG because now really is the time to just go completely up against your opponents.
Whenever things seem to go really well for these teams, they then make some puzzling decisions, and it reminds me a lot of my favorite show on HBO called Game of Thrones. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. It involves dragons, which is exactly where Sweater is standing over by Armory and Throne, now being droned on this Nook that we talked about before, and Nook has seen a very healthy pick rate through a lot of the NAL and on many maps, and has been very influential because she's also been banned out a couple times.
I was gonna say her ban rate is also not high, but it's definitely up there and it's relevant.
Laxing cannot control the SMG-11 as he right now inside of the bomb site is a long window in, and Stream who gets picked off by Drip, who's in the midst of it. He's getting the diffuser planted. We talked about objective play. Will Beastcoast be successful? Laxing doesn't see the Finka, looks the wrong way, and it's the shoulder of Surf that just evades his gaze. It's Fox A against all 5 players from Beastcoast. Right now inside of Cash, he has information. Down goes the Finka. Is there an Adrenal Surge? Yes, it is. She's back up. And brought back from the dead, but the Zombie can't really do all that much. Fox A, if he steps to the left, might be cut down from the right, but no. Instead, he's got 2 different targets in that same area, and here's one, cannot contain his recoil at all. It's time for them to push. And the Nook softened up by the pistol. That was a bit of a sloppy one. Finally, Beast Coast break the streak that OXG was on as Fox A's best efforts fall short.
Yeah, but it's almost given to them again. I mean, you mentioned the Game of Throws there, getting a little too aggressive early on. I mean, if you're going to commit to a spawn pick or a jump out, I like when people do it in pairs or more people than just one jumping out because, you know, you're just throwing something at the wall to see if it'll work out or not, and it didn't. So therefore, you're punished. But that was arguably the weakest bomb set that OXG has to deal with. So they get to go back to the strongest one instead. Downstairs now in the Armory Throne Room instead. And they got, again, that stable lineup we saw from the last time, where you pair the Kite with the Mute for the walls, Dream on Maestro with the Impact Grenades. Therefore, you get information, you get the Na, you even have one set of barbed wire on the Kite, where people go, why don't you play C4? But this is the thing, you need one set of barbed wire for almost every single bomb set in this game, unless you play Melusi. So, because there's no Melusi, that's how we see the barbed wire. You just have to pay that respect, otherwise they can just walk in through certain areas, walk into those bomb site doors, and nothing is going to stop them or give away some Q.
Nick, kindly guide your eyes to the bottom right of the screen.
Oh boy, oh no.
And then kindly guide your eyes to the middle portion of the right side of the screen.
I'm a big fan of that.
We have a Finka Ying Lion Blitz
Yep.
quadrant that is about to unleash havoc in the midst of this Throne Armory bomb site. How do you crack open the single best bomb site for the defenders statistically out of every single bomb site in the game?
You run through it.
You just run right through it.
I
Just
guess.
defense be damned at this point. There's no Goyo on the board, and if you look at the lineup from OXG, there really isn't any immediate stall potential.
No, there's not.
no Smoke present, there's no Legion present, there's no Captain, there's no Frost. There's very little. There's not even Banshees to stop you.
Nothing.
You can just run right in. Not even a deployable shield. This is a very conventional setup from OXG, but it might be ill prepared for what Beastcoast is about to unleash on them. Unleash is correct, by the way. Surf is right there, and there go the
here we
smokes.
go.
Candelas go off. They're in, and they are in it to win it right away. But it's a hail of gunfire, and they don't check their corners. OXG cuts them down to size. A bit of a mistiming from Beastcoast. Diffuser down below Foxy. Poised and ready in the corpse of the Blitz. The attempt was good. There was an effort. There was an attempt. But it doesn't work out.
I mean, you said it, Park. I mean, what do? You try something different, right? Because you know a conventional attack is probably not going to work anyway. But they didn't get the wall opened up. They try to fake it out. Then they just run through in because there's no real hard breach here. There is no hard breach at all, in fact. And the Candelas didn't do a lot because Slash only threw a single Candela, so no one was really blinded.
There go the Candelas again. Another opportunity here for Beastcoast. Didn't work out the first time. They've got some presence above after finishing what they started with that rush, or OXG rather, finishing what they started. Now it's OXG's turn to head back and hit the deck towards the bomb site. A drop from vertical. Beastcoast still with control above, destroying as much of that floorboard as possible, giving less areas for OXG to sit in. Fewer areas? Grammar is hard.
Yeah.
Grammar is hard. Impact grenade goes out to try and soften up the Ying. 2 Candelas still remaining, and a smoke. Beastcoast can pull this one off, but there's going to need to be a little bit more sophistication. They tried the hammer strategy. Now they need to be a little bit more surgical, maybe pull out the scalpel and be delicate, because you can't just brute force your way into the bomb site. No grenades from above. There goes the last smoke, and Newers is just there, and he'll mag dump into the doorway. He'll continue to do that. Foxy's not too far off. Disco dance party as the Candelas go in. Slash been dropped. Anthony's down 2. OXG hitting their marks. It's Sweater above to now break into the bomb site towards Split. He sees the Azami in one direction, and it's Newers to capitalize. A seesaw over the last 2 rounds. OXG tying things up yet again with an unpredictable round that started off well for Beastcoast and then immediately fell apart.
You said started off well, but the only thing that really went well for them was the fact that they picked an interesting or fun
That is correct.
lineup.
It started
well.
off well. As in it was, wow, look at how interesting this lineup is. Things are going really well, and then they lost.
So, would you say, so the thing is, right, I would say the round started terribly for them because the first thing they did didn't work out. While it was fun to watch what they was about to happen, what we thought was going to happen just didn't, right? They ran on through, they didn't clear the corners, only one Candela went out, only one smoke grenade went out. They did a full commitment strategy, but they only committed very few resources because after those first 2 kills came through from OXG, we saw Slash with 1 smoke grenade in his pocket and 3 Candelas. So if you're gonna run in and just hope that it works out, or like that's your strategy at least, toss in as many Candelas as possible, all the smoke grenades, because you need this to work. That is where the round is defined as a win or a loss. Now, Attacker Repic really doing work here. Sweater Amaru, slash on slash. Anthony now gets his turn on the Ying operator, and Surf gets to frag it out on the Finga. On the defense, again, the Warden is not being played. Nothing can really stop these kind of aggressive plays. Besides, of course, the C4, maybe a Toxic Bait from Dream, but there is one deployable shield as well, so at least one position on this Bunktaker bomb site can be defendable. And last time we saw that shield being put on the Cafe side, we'll see if this Sweater on the Mara will just like fly on in what he's going to be doing.
If there's anybody who's going to get the most out of it, it's going to be Sweater. He is clinically insane and can pull off just about anything that you see on this roster. Again, he still holds the crown. Surf was 7-0 at one point, a bit of a fall from grace. He's been 2-6 since, and he's losing his gunfights and finding himself oftentimes on these same killing roles, especially on Finka. Newers, on the other hand, has been the complete opposite. He's really been feeling himself, and he definitely did on that swing from Arcade Window. But the dance with death, well, is not met well. Oh. Shot from Newers, but it hits the shoulder of Slash. Again, still feeling it. Back to the Arcade Window, droned out and holding a very similar position to where he was before. He had Dream backing him up with smokes on the main stairs, and Dream is poised to do the same thing, should the need arise.
Seems like Beastcoast had a plan and an idea to attack the Cafe side of things, but at the same time, 3 members are rotating across the map on the roof right now because nothing really seems to be given. No one is swinging out, no kills are being found, and we're just kind of waiting for the next move here. OXG playing a nice fine line between over-aggression and over-passiveness, where they're swinging out for info, now they're back on the bomb side. They've given up Cafe because the time is burning down, but here comes the execute.
And there it is, waiting for the call for Sweater to burst on in. Amidst the chaos that will erupt in Daycare, now it's Sweater's time to shine and exploiting a hole in the defenses, but no, Dream reads into it perfectly. Nitro Cell from Vertical goes out. OXG rebuffing Beastcoast, and it leaves just Surf alive to deal with the 4 from Oxygen. Will he snuff them out? He finds yet another kill onto Foxay, pivots immediately. Diffuser far away. OXG have so much time to linger, and that gives Surf 45 seconds to find and isolate these last 3 players. Will they play together is the real question. One over towards the rotate, and that's Dream playing off of it. He ends a potential comeback for Beastcoast, and they move to match point.
I like this strat though. I mean, they had it all planned out. The Mauer goes in, the Ying drops the hatch, Smoke Grenade comes out, Candela falls along, the chaos begins, but somehow OXG, they have information on A, where the planet is going down, so Vert throws out a C4, it kills the planet, it denies it at the last 1 or 2 seconds. Of course, Sweater, he flew into Big Room, but immediately shot down as well. He doesn't find the kill, he doesn't get to thrive in that chaos moment either, and that right there is the entire strat. Even if the bomb went down, there's no real good post-plant positions available for Beastcoast, so they had to get some kills and they had to get the plant. They got neither, and that has forced out the last timeout available because Beastcoast themselves have said, we got to talk this through. It's match point for OXG. We need to get around here.
I mean, when do you start to take the timeout? That's the real question. If you go back and you look at it, Beastcoast won the first 4 rounds, and they were really good that whole time. One diffuser planted. That was the Surf clutch back in round number 3. Beastcoast get those first rounds. They get the first blood in all 4 of those rounds. Yep. A really dominant start. Since then, Beastcoast have a single round. That's it. Which is a dreadful fall from grace for a team that started out so hot. Now, forgive them for a second here because this theme park looks like it's almost every other theme park. Very routine. It's defender-sided.
Yep.
And quite lopsidedly so. Only 3 rounds have gone of the 11 that we've seen towards the attackers. So what do? Well, you call the timeout. You are on the unfavorable side. You probably could have called it maybe a little bit early. But this is essentially a Hail Mary to aim for. You win the round, you go to overtime, and then maybe you talk about it during that timeout, what your focus in overtime is going to be.
I mean, you'd have to. You can't just talk about this round in particular because if you win it, as you said, you got OT, and if you lose it, well, then the game is over. And we also see OXG completing the 4 bomb site rotation as the first and only team in this matchup where they're going to lap stock bomb site on this potential final round. And this is why the Captain is actually a great operator pick for Laxing, because this bomb site enables the entire map, and it's the only bomb site that does it. Usually you extend over, across the map, but here we're talking first floor extension, top floor extension, throne room extension, everywhere. One person on site, 4 people roaming around playing together is the staple of this bomb site. The Capcan traps, of course, because attackers are trying to be so fast to clear the map, they can do some damage, and Laxing himself hiding in a corner inside a vault nearby those Capcan traps, while Beastcoast are trying to just find their way through this map, drone out every single inch and corner, and hopefully they're not gonna miss any, because if they do, Laxing might just be in that specific area and get a free kill.
I just love that we're seeing all 4 of these bomb sites show up. That is, that's really something to go
It's a whole wall.
That
right
is
there.
an entire wall. Some remodeling being done downstairs, renovations, as the entry from lobby into the lab component is not gonna be easy. An explosive could potentially take care of it. I have not yet tested out the Azami Kibas myself, but if you threw a grenade in the middle and it blew up, I'm assuming it would take all 3 of them.
Yep,
with
absolutely.
It,
So it's arguably like poor value because one explosive can kill all 3 of those barriers, but at the same time, if you get rid of those grenades or there isn't a grenade operator within line of sight, it's gonna stay alive.
But I mean, they did something that we thought was impossible. They built the wall.
Yeah.
They built the wall.
They
okay?
built
That's what they
the
did.
wall.
That's exactly what they did. And of course, an explosive can take it out. Beastcoast are close enough to the bomb site that they can taste it, but for now, they have to be wary of any second floor presence from OXG. I don't know how good Beastcoast droning has been. It doesn't seem like it's been all that proficient. They still have 5 drones left, but Sweater is, at the moment, looking for somebody who isn't there any longer. Foxay moving out of the way as the grenade goes off.
This is the thing, right? You gotta fight all floors and all locations. Laxing on that roam gets a flank kill on the slash, and that's gonna add more damage on top of you because now you gotta worry about the front and above you and also behind you all of a sudden. And the bomb site is so safe because of these keeper barriers and the Capcan traps.
Foxay persists in this position. One over towards lobby. Beastcoast looking to push overtime. Their chances have just gotten better. Sweater trades himself for Nurs, but it's Dream to finish him off. Nurs is no more. Slash is down as well. Now it's Surf's time. OXG is suddenly in control, and Drip with his 2 kills and 10 deaths. He's got some major killing to do. It's him and Anthony, which is not the most confidence-inspiring duo based on their stats over the last 2 stages, but they've got something working right now, or they did, rather. It's Drip in a 1v3, heading into the bomb site. 5 seconds left, and Beastcoast's chances of clawing this one back dry up. Oxygen, well, they win it. 7-5. A strong start from Beastcoast, but they just can't keep it going. All the momentum ends up being for naught. OXG pick up a big second win.
I think picking up rounds and having moments of victory is something that's quite big for a team like Beastcoast, where they don't necessarily find that many victories in the game itself, but taking, 5 rounds off OXG, going to theme park confidently back-to-back, and challenging aggressively in those first 4 rounds, they can be proud of that. But they gotta work on what comes next, what comes if that doesn't work, because it seems like they're a bit of a one-trick pony right now, where if aggression doesn't work out, well, that's all we got.
Well, I mean, it was TSM who went to theme park a number of times, stage 1, and I mean, that worked out really well for them. So Beastcoast might be repeating the same mistakes. I will say this, despite the fact that Beastcoast lost here, they definitely performed better than they did against Dark Zero. So there's signs of promise for Beastcoast. For OXG, it is just par for the course. Another victory for them to end the day. And before we come back to break down what exactly happened in that last match and say goodbye to you, we've got a break ready. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
through tripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make bitches, I'm on my
Round 11.
Welcome back to the Rainbow Six North American League. One final analyst desk to close out the day, and man, that was a close one. We were worried for a second that we had just like doomed the second good team in a row by having everyone and the coin pick them, but Oxygen managed to pull it off, and we have none other than Coach Redeemer standing by in Vegas. Redeemer, you had to be sweating a little bit at the beginning of that one, huh?
Yeah, it was definitely sweaty in the beginning, but I'm glad we were able to close it out. Yep.
And go ahead.
Well, Redeemer, I mean, I wanted to ask you about this map because it seems like people keep bringing you guys to Theme Park, and you guys have been so dominant on it so far since it's introduced. I believe this is your 5th win in a row since it's been reintroduced to the map pool. So tell me, what is it about this map that you guys seem to do so well on with it?
I feel like it's just a good balance of our play style. Like, we have a little bit of gunners on our team, so Theme Park allows us to do that. There's also a little bit of strategy on Theme Park, so I think it just really fits our play style really well. I think some teams don't have it figured out, so we're down to go to Theme Park. We like when teams take us there.
I want to get it from your perspective too, because we'll see a zombie played on literally every map these days, but why specifically on Theme Park is she so prevalent? And for you guys in particular, is there any reason why you'll switch it between 2 people playing it, like as opposed to most teams that'll only have 1 person playing the operator?
Yeah, so I think she's like really good on Theme Park just because there's a lot of rotations on Theme, so she just allows a little bit more utility to slow down those pushes or kind of that randomness that Theme Park provides. But then at the same time, you know, she's got like the shield, so it's great for defense as well. It kind of acts as a shield. So the reason why we kind of swap is like depending on how we're looking to play her that bomb site, like whether we want her a little bit more aggressive or we want a little bit more defense, that just kind of determines who's going to be playing that up. So that's why we switch.
All right. One more question for you before I let you go. Now, obviously, Oxygen, great stage 1, great run at the major as well. Coming into stage 2, I'm curious, what is kind of the biggest takeaway that you got as a squad from the major results that you could bring into stage 2?
I mean, obviously, we were happy with how well we did at the major, but I don't think by any means we were ecstatic about it. I think we definitely kind of underperformed there at the end. And I think the biggest thing here is just like being complacent. Like we did really well stage 2, we did really well at the major. It's really easy to be complacent at that point in time because a lot of teams kind of aim for that top spot. So I think the biggest thing here is making sure we don't slow down on the gas. We hit the pedal to the metal and we keep grinding and making sure that teams don't catch up to us. So consistency for sure, and then complacency.
All right, consistency to take down the complacency. I like to hear it. Thanks for talking
100%.
with us. Congrats on the win today. Yeah, good luck next week.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. You too.
All right, there you go. Like a true coach. He's ready to just like throw the headphones off, get back to his job. I like it. I like the fire. Well, here are some stats for our final map of the day. Again, like Beastcoast jumped up to a 4-0 lead early on, but once the sides swapped, once Beastcoast was on attack, that seemed to be where Oxygen really took control again.
Absolutely, and although I think, like, sure, Beastcoast lost this map, I think this looked way better than yesterday against Dark Zero. We saw Anthony getting some kills, even clutching some rounds out without needing to get any kills a couple of times. We saw Sweater really coming back in full force. 12 and 10, I think, was a nice little stat line for himself. And then, you know, the rest of the support players maybe being a little bit more low there in kills. I don't think that's a huge deal. Obviously, Oxygen, the stars of the show today. Newers being the 13 and 6. That's more than the 2.0 KDR. I like that.
This is just like my exact point before this one began. Where is Beastcoast attacking maturity? Where is something a little bit like different? We need them to run through more of a stringent checklist on attack, and it just felt like from that first attacking round onward, there were some things missing. There were some coverages that weren't there. There was some vertical control that wasn't established. It felt half-baked, which isn't the kind of thing I want to see from this team. So far, it wouldn't shock me. Well, we'll go through and like compile stats later. They might have the worst attacking stat in the league at this point because they've had opportunities, especially here with a full attacking half to really get something on the board. A 4-2 like defensive half on Theme Park is probably the expected result if it's not a 5-1. But when you can't translate that the other way, and there have been some teams that have demonstrated really good proficiency on attack, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what you're doing here.
It's rough, right? I mean, Beastcoast clearly with a lot of work to do, and so we'll see if next week they can come into it with a bit more results. It feels like there was progress, even today, but just not quite enough yet once that side swap, like you said. But moving on, we've got a bit of a challenge that's been issued, a bit of a gauntlet that's been thrown.
What?
From Jesse towards Jacob. That's right.
Jacob.
It's an analyst showdown.
What?
Jesse, why don't you introduce us? What are we looking at here?
I've made for you a challenge. We saw 3 clutches to start this game off in rounds 1, 2, and 3, and there was one key factor that tied all 3 together. I'm going to show you 3 clips of the 3 clutches, and I want to see if you can figure out what it was that tied these 3 together. Let's roll the clips, and we'll see, Jacob, if you can identify the key thing that's in all of them. So this is round 1, where Surf is going to finish it off with the C4, and we don't see the full clip, but it's okay. This is enough information for you to hopefully identify the key thing here. This is round 2, where Anthony wins without getting a single kill, despite running towards the
sprints
kit.
towards it here, and he just kind of like hides behind the right back there. Again.
Okay, and this is round 3. Any ideas yet? This is earlier in round 3, so this isn't the actual clutch, but this is earlier.
Looking for something in particular.
And we're finishing off the clip. Okay, those are the 3 rounds. Did you catch it, Caliber Jacob?
So technically,
I have no idea.
If we're counting DBNO, Surf was alive in all 3 of those rounds.
That is incorrect, Jacob. Let's run it again, and we'll see if we'll see what they are. Can we run it back one more
You
time?
did identify one thing.
Yeah, so in round
right?
1, we've got, who's that? Slash on a bulletproof camera, a bunch of red pings down on the planters. Round number
There it is
2,
again.
full information, yellow and red pings on Fox. Those are actually what caused him to get off of the diffuse skin, allow Anthony to wait out. And round number 3, Velt cameras up and around in upper arcade and down lower catwalk, all feeding information. The red pings and the yellow pings were rampant in those last 3 moments of the rounds for Beastcoast. It was the information, Jacob, that tied it all together. 2 bulletproof cameras and 1 set of Velt cams.
I liked my answer better.
Well,
It's clever.
you weren't incorrect,
Right.
so half points.
In a world where you only have an A and a B option, I always look for the C.
There you go.
Well
Thinking
done.
outside the box, a trait that everyone enjoys in a middle manager and an analyst here
What?
at the Rainbow Six League. You know what? We've got
you
another
call
round to look at. No, I just said it's a common trait. That's all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Round 11. The second to last round, the penultimate round of this map was a good one too, wasn't it, Jacob?
I mean, it was good for OXG. It wasn't good for Beastcoast. And I think it's mostly because of the way that Beastcoast attempt an attack, and it really goes nowhere. We all thought, oh, hey, all of a sudden, they have, and he's dead. Sweater immediately Amaru is upstairs, and then look at how fast this thing falls apart. The smoke angles don't really do anything for Beastcoast, especially as they make a push in. Foxay is able to get one right as he comes back up yellow stairs. The Nitro Cell kill from Vertigo before he gets taken down still means that he's got some impact here. And then it's just left off to Surf. Now, the rest of this round ultimately doesn't matter, because by the time we even got to this point and we were wondering whether he could hunt down all the rest of those players, it's 4 kills within the span of about 5 seconds. I'm not necessarily saying that Beastcoast can't find, it's not a pocket strat. They very clearly thought, hey, we're going to bring in Amaru, we're going to react to the situation, we're going to utilize Repick to the best of our ability.
Right.
But that still happens. Against a very lockdown defense where roamers weren't exactly that far away from the site, it felt like there was too much utility that was localized and too many bodies that were close to it by the time they finally went for that strategy. And what happened? 4 deaths within the span of 5 seconds.
Listen, it wasn't a good attacking half just by their numbers for Beastcoast, but I can appreciate the fact that they went into that 4th quarter knowing that in the 3rd quarter they didn't get very many good attacking rounds, and trying some new stuff out, right? They tried the Ying, they tried Blitz once on the Throne Room, and then they tried the Amaru. You know, if you know that you're going against one of the best bomb sites in the game, if you know that you've been struggling attacking this site against Oxygen, mix it up, play some of those strategies. Didn't work all the time, but I like that they at least give it a shot.
Yeah, you got to give it a try anyway. And again, like we did see some progress, I think, from Beastcoast between yesterday and today. But